Good morning or good afternoon, Algebra 1 students. Class is going to look different today, but we are still going to be able to learn just a little bit virtually. So by now you should be in your assigned seats, you should have your notebooks out, and you are ready to follow along with me. Today's objective is to simplify square roots. So if you want to give your notes a title, go ahead and call it Simplifying Square Roots. We've talked about square roots a little bit when we were talking about deciding if numbers were rational or irrational. We said only the perfect squares were rational numbers. So we asked you to memorize the first 12 perfect squares. So that means you have everything from 1 times 1 equals 1 up to 12 times 12 equals 144 memorized. Again, if not soon, because we do have a test coming up this week. Well, today we're going to talk about simplifying square roots. So let me go back a second. If those are our first perfect squares, then so far we've said something like, okay, I know what the square root of 49 is. That's 7. Since that's a perfect square, that's a rational number. So we talked about square roots when we decided rational versus irrational. We also talked about square roots when we were estimating, right? So we said, okay, the square root of 50, I don't know what that is exactly, right? So that's going to be an irrational number. But we said it's just a little bit more than 49, so it's just going to be a little bit more than 7. So far, we've been estimating square roots by maybe finding a decimal approximation and plotting those on a number line. So that's what we've done with square roots so far. Today, rather than estimating, we're going to actually simplify. So I jumped ahead. Now we're ready for this slide. So take a second to jot this down. You can pause the video if you need. Step 1 says to make a factor tree. I hope that that's something that you remember from middle school, but we're going to list out all of the factors until we get down to the prime factorization of our number. And then you're going to hear me say it so much, we're going to look for pairs and spares. So remember, what makes our perfect squares perfect is the fact that 16 has a pair of factors that are the same, right? 4 times 4, so the square root of 16 is perfect. Same thing with 25. It has a pair of factors, so if we made a factor tree, we'd have 5 times 5. We have a pair, so those are perfect. And they go outside of the square root. So today we're going to look for pairs, but we might also find some spares, and we're going to realize that the pairs can go out of the square root, but the spares will stay in. And I'll show you what I mean with some examples. So as always, write down the original problem, please. Here we want to simplify the square root of 12. So the directions are different than before. We're not estimating, but we're trying to simplify, and we'll do that by making a factor tree. So there's a couple things that you can start with that multiply to 12. Perhaps you thought of 2 times 6. That's great. 2 is prime, but 6 can be factored more. Notice I'm going to cross out the 6 since I'm factoring it down even further to 2 times 3. So that's what we call a factor tree. Those are the prime factors, 2 times 2 times 3, that equal 12. Now to simplify, here comes that little rhyme, pairs and spares. The pairs go out, right? If we have a pair, then they can go out of the square root, but the spares stay in. So what's left over is that 3, so that stays inside of the square root. So notice I circle the pairs and take them outside of the square root, and I leave in the spare. So the square root of 12 simplifies to 2 times the square root of 3. And this is our simplified answer. So that's our goal for the day. So let's look at example 2. Remember, we start by making a factor tree. So what times what multiplies to 45? Well, that could be 5 times 9. 5 is prime, so it does not break down, but 9 can be factored, so I'm going to cross it out. And I know that 9 is 3 times 3. Now we think pairs and spares. The pairs get circled and they go outside of the square root. The spare So the only thing left was this 5, and that stays inside the square root, right? Because the 9 got crossed out, the only thing left was 5 that stays inside the square root. So we simplified this a bit by finding a perfect square, right? We found 9 that broke down because that was a perfect square. So we got to simplify a little bit, but we had a spare 5 that stays in the radical. All right, let's look at example 3. Pause the video for a second if you would like to try on your own. So we will not be able to use calculators on our test on Friday, but I won't give you too big of numbers. 98 is an even number, so hopefully you at least thought, okay, I think I can divide this by 2. So dividing that by 2 gave you half of 98, which was 49. The nice thing about 49 is we know that's a perfect square. So 49 breaks down into the pair 7 times 7. So with our little rhyme, the pairs, the part that's perfect, the pairs go out, and then the spare in this case was 2, and it stays inside of the square root. Okay, if you would like to pause the video, please go ahead and try to factor the square root of 28 and the square root of 80. So if you can at least get those factored, we can do the next part together. There's a couple different ways you could have factored 28. I think of 28 as 4 times 7, and then I know 4 is my perfect square that breaks down into my pair of 2 times 2. With those prime factors, I can go ahead and circle the 2's. They will go outside, and the spare 7 will stay inside. So you could have done it a little bit differently, but hopefully we got to that same answer. There are a lot of ways you could have started to factor 80, right? To get 80, perhaps you thought, okay, that's 8 times 10. Because it ends in a 0, I know I can multiply it times 10. 8 breaks down. 8 breaks down to, cross it out, and it's 4 times 2. From those, the 4 breaks down, so I'll cross that out, and that's 2 times 2. Well, over here, the 10 broke down as well, so 10 was 2 times 5. So now that I have everything broken down into the prime factors, maybe you noticed that there was a pair of 2's and another pair of 2's. So those are both going to go out of the parenthesis, or the square root, sorry. So we take a 2 out times another 2, and then we leave the spare 5 on the inside. So that would give us a final answer of 4 square root 5. So the 8, the 10, and the 4, cross those out because they broke down. We found 2 pairs of 2's, which gave us a 4 on the outside and our spare 5 on the inside. Again, multiple ways to do that problem, but hopefully we all ended up with the same answer. All right, example 6, the square root of 40. I would love for you to start that, and then we'll compare. Again, many ways that you could break up the square root of 40. Again, since it ends in 0, I'm just going to go ahead with 4 times 10. The 4 I know will break or factor into 2 times 2, and the 10 will factor into 2 times 5. Now be careful here, it's pairs, right? Not a group of 3, but a group of 2. So I can take this group of 2's outside of the square root, and then I don't have anything else that's paired. So notice the 2 times the 5 are both of your spares. So 2 times 5 is going to leave us with a 10 still inside of the square root. So I only had one pair of 2's. Whatever's left inside, if you have more than one factor, we'll just go ahead and multiply those back together. So that left us with a 10 on the inside of the square root. All right, lots of things to practice here. The more we practice, the better we get, I promise. You'll learn little tricks and you'll start to see some patterns over time. All right, again, you can pause the video and try to break down the square root of 24 into its factors. So many ways that you could have broken it down. I think of 24 as 6 times 4. I would break down the 4 into the factors 2 times 2 and the 6 into the factors 3 times 2. And then I hope you notice that this example was a lot like the previous example. Again, I just have a pair of 2's. So that pair of 2's can go out of the square root, but again, like in example 6, these factors 3 times 2, since they didn't have any pairs to go out with, then they're just going to multiply back together to stay inside the square root. So pairs go out, spares stay in. If you don't have a pair, it's kind of like you need a date is what I tell people. You need someone to go out with. So if you have a date, you get to go out. And then if you don't have a date, isn't this a sad analogy? You have to stay in. All right. This is going to be our last option. So I'm going to let you pause the video and try. I used 300, which is a pretty big number, and I wrote it 3 times on purpose because I'm going to show you that just because the way I'm doing it is one way and the way you're doing it may be different, and that's okay. So some ways might be a little more efficient than others, but as long as we get the same answer, that's fine. So pause the video and see how you could break down the square root of 300. And after you try it one way, if you want to try perhaps to find a quicker or more efficient way, that could work too. So some people see 300 and they think, okay, it ends in a 0. So that's just 30 times 10. And then they start breaking down. So maybe 30, you say that ends in a 0. So that's 3 times 10. Cross it out. 3 is prime, but 5 breaks down to 10 breaks down to 5 times 2. And this 10 breaks down to 5 times 2. So it could get a little messy, but as long as you show your factor tree as neatly as possible, now we go looking for our pairs. So there's a pair, there's another pair. So we can take out the 5, take out the 2. Remember, we multiply them. When they go out and multiply, that would give us 10. And then just this lone 3 from way up here was your spare left on the inside. So that's definitely one way you could have done this problem. Maybe you saw 300 and you said, okay, 300 is even, so I'll take half of it. So half of 300 is 150. 150, I think about money, right? So I can make $1.50 with quarters. So that would be 25 times 6. 25, I know can factor. It's 5 times 5. And 6 I know can factor. It's 2 times 3. So a totally different route, but we should get the same answer. Again, if you can, kind of circle your pairs up. There's a pair of 5s. Here were your pair of 2s. So again, we have 5 times 2. We had 10 on the outside. And just this little 3 left on the inside. So those are definitely options. Perhaps what I was mentioning before or hinting at is that although there are many ways, some are a bit more efficient than others. So let me show you what I think is probably the most efficient way. And tonight's homework is on Delta Math. And if you watch any of their help videos, you'll notice that they always suggest this. And they suggest looking for the biggest perfect square that is a factor. So 300, think about just how we say it, 300 must be 3 times 100. Now the nice thing about 100 is, although there are many ways to factor it, we do know it's a perfect square. So go ahead and factor 100 as 10 times 10. And although you can keep breaking down, you really don't have to, because there's your pair, right? So if you see a pair, you can go ahead and circle those. A pair of factors of 10 go out, and then the only thing left again is that spare 3. So that's definitely the most efficient way. Notice all 3 methods are completely great and appropriate. We all get the same answer no matter which one we use. All right, so those were your notes on simplifying square roots. I will post them to Google Classroom, so if you missed something, you can always go back and rewatch. Tonight's homework will be on Delta Math, so you'll get some practice. And again, why I like Delta Math is you get unlimited practice. So if you miss one, just go back, try to watch a video, try to learn from your mistakes, and keep practicing. You should have already created your accounts last week, but if you were absent or something, here's the code to create a new account. Work